This is an instructional video about dividing fractions, and our essential question is, what is a reciprocal? So basically we're at a level 1 where we're just going to be defining something. That's going to be a key idea as we're doing fraction division. So the first thing to keep in mind is first, what is a reciprocal? And it is, basically it's a fraction that's flipped. A key idea is that a number, you can hear my dog in the background right now, a number multiplied by its reciprocal equals 1. So, for example, if I had the fraction 1/2, its reciprocal is 2 over 1, which is 2. And if you thought about it, say I took 1/2 and I multiplied it by its reciprocal, I get 2 over 2, which is the same thing as 1. So that's what a reciprocal is. We're going to need that concept to help us when we're doing fraction division. Okay, so here's something that I want you to kind of consider. What does a division model look like? Now, say for example, we had 2 divided by 1/2, and I'm just doing that because I know it's going to be a pretty easy model for me to make. So I want you to think about a number line, and I'm just going to have 0, 1, and 2. The concept behind division is I want to know how many groups of 1/2 can go into 2. Okay, well I know that that's 1/2. That's 1 and 1/2. Well, here's one group of 1/2. Here's another one. Here's another one. And then here's one more. And I can physically count. There's 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. So my answer would be 4. So that's what the model looks like. And that's generally what we're doing. And it's kind of a challenge for some students because they think, well, division, we should always be getting a smaller number. But sometimes we're going to get a larger number than what we started with, and that's because I'm taking a number and I'm finding how many small pieces can fit into it. Like if you think about 56 divided by 1, it's 56 because 56 tiny pieces of 1 can fit into 56. And so we just got to be really careful about that because our concept of division with whole numbers is that we're always going to have smaller answers, but that's not always going to be true when it's doing with fractions. Okay, so how do I divide fractions? First step, as always, you want to convert any mixed numbers into improper fractions. We can't just group and divide. We need to make sure that we are always converting so we have the same form of the number. Then what you want to do is change divide to multiply. Flip second fraction, multiply, simplify, convert. Now the reason why we're doing multiplication, I want you to take a look at this. 2 and 1/2, 2 divided by 1/2 is 4. A general pattern is that, and this is just kind of a rule that we accept in mathematics, and here's just a visual for you to kind of see it. Instead of taking a fraction and dividing it by a fraction, instead I can take my number, multiply it by its reciprocal, and I get to that same solution because this would just be over 1 and then that would be 1. And I get to the same solution, and you can see that right here visually with your eyes. And so that's a pattern that we can generalize in math So let's do one example. I'm going to take 1 1/3, divide it by 6. Now I want you to think about this conceptually. I'm taking 1 1/3, think about what that looks like as a picture, and I'm dividing it by 6. Is my answer going to be greater than 1 1/3? Is it going to be smaller? My hope is that you're thinking that's going to be a smaller number, and that's true, because I'm taking something that's small. I'm seeing how many large groups I can make out of it, and I can't make that many. So first step says convert any mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I need to convert this one, multiply and add. So 3 times 1 plus 4, I get 4/3. Now, to change a whole number into a fraction, just put a 1 underneath it, put it on a pedestal. So divided by 6/1. Then it's change divide to multiply. So 4/3 multiplied. And I'm actually going to do the second step too, where I want to flip my second fraction. Multiply straight across, I get 4/18. I can't convert this because this is a proper fraction, but I can simplify it. Divide by 2, I get 2/9. And notice how I was right. This is going to be smaller than original number because I'm taking something small, seeing how many large groups can fit into it, and that's not going to even be a whole one. So there you go. That is how you divide fractions.